Joining us at the World Economic Forum in Davos is long-time Davos veteran, Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Mr. Kamal Nath. So welcome. You've been coming to Davos literally for decades now, 3 decades plus. I want you to look back in time and explain how you see the world perceiving the India story in 2020 vis-a-vis in years gone by.
Well, in the past, people looked at India with curiosity. Then there came a time they looked at in anticipation. Then they looked at India as participation. This time, it's subdued. It's subdued. The Indian interest is subdued. People are not very actively engaging with India at this point of time. So amongst all the forums which I've attended, I find this to be curiously different from that point of view.
You're saying India thanda hai this time at Davos, and that's the irony. We're in the middle of all this cold, and then the attitude towards India seems to be rather cold. Why do you think that's the case? You've seen what's happened over the past 5 years. You've been coming here for decades. Why do you think that the interest around India this time at Davos is subdued?
Well, I think that probably delivery. What was promised, they don't see happening. They still find that ease of business which is proclaimed is not there. They also see that there is now social unrest in India taking place. They see economic numbers which have gone down. They look at the Indian banking system in great difficulty. So when they see all this, obviously they seem to get cold feet about India.
So you've had a packed schedule. I saw your calendar, minute by minute you've been meeting the little movers and shakers of the world economy. In your conversations with them, Chief Minister, what's the kind of feedback, the buzz that you're picking up?
Well, in my conversation with them, they are concerned about India. They look at India very optimistically, but now it is tempered with pessimism. They want to know why is the economy in such bad shape? Why is the banking system under collapse? They are looking at what is this social strife all about? Because the students unrest.
Has that been a part of your conversations?
Oh yes, everybody brought it up. Everybody brought it up.
They know what's happening around
They
the
know,
sea.
they know. They may not know the micro of it, but broadly they know that India is seeing social unrest after a long time. India has not seen this kind of social unrest, and this social unrest is a matter of concern to them.
So there are two ways of looking at what you're saying, Chief Minister. One is that you're a long-time Davos veteran, you're sharing your perspective on what's happening now. The other is that you're an interested politician representing the opposition party, the Congress, and therefore you're saying this to give the BJP a bad name.
I'm not giving BJP a bad name if it's in the press. They have themselves got into the press themselves. They have brought themselves into the press, nothing else. And it is because of this that the international press has not been very kind with India.
You've been speaking to many international journalists as well.
I have been speaking.
How have those conversations been going? What are the kind of questions they're asking? What is their focus? How are they looking at India this time?
Well, they are looking with concern because they looked at India as peaceful, as a democracy, is the largest democracy on this planet. They looked at India as a solid democracy. Now they are seeing things which is causing concern to them. This is the social issues which are coming up.
You know, the one thing I don't understand, Chief Minister, is that at Davos this time, you've got a big Madhya Pradesh pavilion, there's a Telangana pavilion, there's a Karnataka pavilion, and the size of the India pavilion has shrunk by half. So there is no one big India splash. Everybody has their own little jamborees happening, and it's not coming together like Team India really should.
Well, that is one way to look at it, but I think that every state also must make its own presentation.
Sure.
Every state must have its presence.
But as part of a larger rubric.
As a part of a larger rubric, it can be one of the methods of doing it. But that's not the only method. And I think that every state, like we've got a pavilion. Now, we want to showcase Madhya Pradesh for investment. Madhya Pradesh has been associated, when you talk about Madhya Pradesh, they say, oh, Bhopal, in terms of gas tragedy. They don't associate Madhya Pradesh is the tiger capital of the world. They don't associate Madhya Pradesh that this is the most logistically advantaged location in India. So these are the things which have to be brought out.
How has Davos been for you? I want to understand from you with all the associations you've got with global economic world leaders. How much of that investment have you so far been able to take back to
We are getting substantial investment. There's no use getting to numbers because what happens is on the ground. And whatever is that MOU signing spree and that announcement spree, I'm not into. I'm into things happening. I'm into things happening with timelines. And I see there is a general sense of satisfaction from an investment point of view in Madhya Pradesh.
But given the fact that you're saying that the overall India story is looking down, does it make it that much tougher for you as the salesman of brand Madhya Pradesh to try and take investment to Madhya Pradesh?
Of course it does. But then, in the end of the day, I think people realize that in the long term, India will sustain itself. India will succeed despite government. And I mean any government. It could be our government. It could be another government. This is the beauty about India. India's intellectual ability, India's entrepreneurial ability is perhaps the best in the world.
So we are here at Davos, but I want to use this opportunity to talk about a bit of domestic politics, because your government, sir, has taken a very strong line on Citizenship Amendment Act. You've gone to the extent of saying that there's no need for it, it will not be implemented in Madhya Pradesh. How do you hope to do that? Because we heard Kapil Sibal, the former law minister, say that if the law is passed by the centre, the constitution mandates that you implement it. So how can Congress ruled states say we won't implement CAA?
Well, CAA, implementing anything which divides society and for which there's no need. What is the need of a Citizens Act? Are there millions of refugees coming in? Is there a war going on? What is the desperateness? Why was it a priority? I don't understand.
So, aapki marzi thodi, they can say, it's our government, we want a democratic mandate. Hamari marzi. We'll do what we want. It's part of our manifesto. People voted for it.
Yes, people will also ask questions. Then what the hell are you doing? And that's what they're asking now. A national register of citizens. You have the Aadhaar card, you have everything. Now you say, I'll have a national register of citizens. And now if I was to ask you, if you want to register yourself as a citizen, Rahul, what religion are you? Please answer that.
No, but that's a very private matter.
But that's the question. That's the question in the register of citizens. And you'll say, I'm a Hindu. I'll say, do you have any proof? And you look up in the air. Then I'll say, what's your religion of your father? You'll say Hindu. I'll say, do you have any proof? They'll say, what's your grandfather? So, do you have any proof? Do you have his birth certificate? You say, no, I don't have one. Ah, okay. Now I don't know what to do.
No, but is this not setting up a big clash between the centre and the states? The centre, we saw what Home Minister Amit Shah said, no matter how much you protest, the CAA is here, we're not rolling back.
Let's be clear. This, bringing such a law, what the government should have done was to have a meeting of all chief ministers. Get their views on this. And there was no meeting of chief ministers held. And I said so earlier. You could have had a meeting of chief ministers and discussed this issue, put it on the table. This is what we plan doing. Obviously, the logical question I would have asked was, what's the urgency? What's the need? What's the desperateness? Now, if you say, because I'm the government, it's my decision, well, fine.
The Prime Minister speaks a lot of cooperative federalism.
He
speaks a lot of Team India. Do you see that at play, or do you think that's missing and only talk?
This is only talk. Where is the cooperative federalism? Where is it? Where is the consultations with the states on any subject? None at all.
What are you making of the anti-CAA protest that we're seeing in different parts of the country? The government and the BJP insisting that this is a Congress-sponsored protest where you're propping up students and members of the Muslim community to give the government a bad name.
This is, what else can they say? They can't say that the people are going against us. So they have to say this is Congress-inspired. It's not. All the universities, all the colleges have started realizing that how India's democracy, the ethos of India's democracy is based on what? The ethos of India is based on what? Is based on harmony. Now, once you're rocking that boat, the boat of harmony, you are rocking the ethos of India.
No, so do you see these, because you've seen many protests over the last several decades, do you see these being contained? Do you see them fizzle out over a few days or weeks, or do you see it sustain?
I think once students are out in the streets, today it is this, tomorrow it will be that, something or other will keep coming up. Because once the students' unrest comes on the streets, it manifests itself. It's a manifestation not merely of this, of the NRC or the CAA. It's a manifestation of frustration. Their bleak future with the government not addressing it. The government should have addressed the issue of unemployment. The government should have, at this point, had debates in Parliament about the banking sector, the collapse of the banking sector. The government should have talked of the economic distress which the country is going through. And all indications are that there's economic distress. It's not something I'm saying.
The government can say that this is just a few dozen campuses where we've seen protests and unrest. There are literally thousands of colleges and universities across.
Let them say that. At the end of the day, it is not necessary that every university, every campus has these protests. The thing is it simmering? Is there discontent? And this discontent is being demonstrated in different ways in different colleges and universities.
You've seen politicians, you've seen governments, good, bad and ugly. Do you think that this in some ways, as critics believe, is the beginning of the end, or will the Prime Minister, with the kind of majority and popularity he still enjoys, be able to ride over these protests?
I don't know. Politics is always indeterminate, and I'd say that let's see how this rolls out. But I feel that this has been a big blow to the credibility of this government. Very big blow, and what they claimed they stood for, people have started seeing through. The voter of India is very smart. He doesn't want to be tugged. The moment he feels he's being tugged, he takes it out on the government.
Let's take a moment to talk about what's happening in the Congress party. From all the buzz we are picking up from the AICC headquarters, it seems the decks are being cleared for Rahul Gandhi to come back as Congress president once again. Would that be a good idea? What's your view?
I don't know what decks are being cleared, but I do know that the party wants him back. It's for him to decide. You don't have to clear any decks for that. So,
do you think it will be a good idea to have him back? Because Modi, the BJP, Amit Shah would be thrilled. They'll say that's the best news for us. Rahul Gandhi is back.
What can they say?
Woo-hoo.
What can they say? Will they go into a depression? They can't say we've gone into a depression now, right? So they have to say that Rahul Gandhi is good for us. What else will they say?
Let's talk about Madhya Pradesh. How stable does your government look to you? There's lots of talk every once in a while that Jyotiraditya Scindia is upset, that there's tension brewing within the Madhya Pradesh.
There's no
Congress.
tension. There's no tension.
There's
no tension at all. There's no tension at all, I don't think.
He's been sulking. You can't dispute that.
Why should he sulk? There's nothing in the state which is happening which should make him sulk.
Are you concerned at the back of your head that there could be an Operation Kamal at Madhya Pradesh at some point in time?
I am not bothered. It just cannot happen. The government has tried, the BJP tried, all kinds of things. They've not succeeded. We've demonstrated on the floor of the House the majority we enjoy, and that's it.
I was in Indore recently to receive an award, and one of the things I picked up over there is that there's a sense that the Machiavellian Kamal Nath has got these sex CDs of IAS officers, and he's using that as leverage to ensure everybody stays in line and does his bidding.
Well, you're talking about the honey trap scandal. In the last 15 years, what the BJP government did, if they are in the honey trap or if they are in those CDs, what am I to do? It happened in their time. We've not engineered.
You're handling the probe yourself. Would you accept that you're using this as a bit of a political lever?
No, I don't think so. I really don't even monitor it that way. What's there is there. What's there to monitor? If it's curiosity, I think it's all out in the open. So
Shivraj Singh Chauhan, and I spoke to him last, said people in Madhya Pradesh are desperately missing Shivraj to come back, and they're saying they're waiting for you to go and for Shivraj to come back.
Well, they are missing Shivraj's announcements, they are missing Shivraj's antics, they are missing all the false promises they made. Yes, they are missing him.
Right. I'll leave it over there, Mr. Kamal Nath. It's always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.